Why did an elderly imam abandon his mosque after hearing a voice from an ancient well? What the Djinn told him that night will make your blood run cold. But before we continue, check if you're already subscribed to the channel and write in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Sheikh Abdullah had served the small village mosque for 43 years. His beard, once black as midnight, now flowed white like desert salt. Every dawn, his voice called the faithful to prayer, echoing through narrow streets where dust and devotion mingled in equal measure. But something had changed in the old imam's eye. The villagers noticed it first during Ramadan. His recitations, once strong and unwavering, now trembled. He would pause mid-prayer, staring at nothing, as if listening to a voice only he could hear. His grandson, young Karim, found him one evening sitting alone in the mosque's courtyard. The Quran closed on his lap. "Grandfather, you didn't finish the evening prayer," the boy said softly. Sheikh Abdullah looked up, and Karim saw something he'd never seen before. Fear. Deep, ancient fear carved into his grandfather's weathered face. "Tell me, child," the old man whispered, "what do you know of the Djinn?" Karim shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew stories of the Djinn, beings of smokeless fire, created before mankind, invisible yet present, capable of both devotion and rebellion. But they were just stories, weren't they? "They exist, grandfather. The Quran tells us so." "Yes." Sheikh Abdullah nodded slowly, his fingers trembling against the holy book. "But what the Quran doesn't tell us is what to do when one asks for your help." It began 3 weeks earlier. During the hottest summer the village had known in decades. The wells were running dry. Crops withered. Desperation hung in the air, like the merciless sun. Sheikh Abdullah remembered the old well on the edge of the village, the one sealed generations ago. The elders called it Bir al-Mansur, the forgotten well. No one remembered why it had been sealed, only that it should remain so. But water was life, and life was fading. The village council met in the mosque. Heated voices echoed off ancient walls. "We must open it," insisted Hassan, a farmer whose fields had turned to dust. "Our children are thirsty." Sheikh Abdullah felt a cold weight in his chest. "There are reasons it was sealed," he said quietly. "Reasons our ancestors knew, but we've forgotten." "Superstition!" someone shouted. In the end, desperation won. Democracy of the desperate. They would open Bir al-Mansur at dawn. That night, Sheikh Abdullah couldn't sleep. He performed ablution 3 times, seeking peace in the familiar ritual. But peace wouldn't come. Instead, a dream came. Or was it a vision? He saw the well, saw ancient hands sealing it with stones and prayers, heard voices chanting protective verses, felt the reason for the seal. Something was down there. Something that shouldn't be disturbed. He woke, gasping, his room flooded with moonlight. The call to Fajr prayer was still hours away, but Sheikh Abdullah knew what he had to do. He had to reach the well first. The desert night was alive with sounds the day never heard. Scorpions clicking across sand, distant howls of jackals, and something else. A low hum, like the earth itself breathing. Sheikh Abdullah's sandals crunched over ancient ground as he approached Bir al-Mansur. The sealed well stood in a clearing where nothing grew, where even weeds refused to take root. Stones lay stacked around the opening, each one carved with verses of protection, now worn smooth by time and wind. His flashlight beam cut through darkness, landing on the seal. And there, his blood froze. The stones had been moved. Not by the villagers. They wouldn't arrive until dawn. Someone, or something, had begun the work already. "Who's there?" His voice cracked the silence. The air changed. Temperature dropped. His breath became visible despite the desert heat. The flashlight flickered, and in that strobing darkness, he saw it. A shadow, but not cast by anything physical. A shadow that moved independently, flowing like oil across the ground, rising, taking shape. Sheikh Abdullah's lips moved in prayer, reciting Ayat al-Kursi, the throne verse, the most powerful protection against evil. "Stop!" The voice didn't come from the shadow. It came from below, from inside the well. A voice like wind through empty corridors, like whispers in 1,000 languages compressed into one. "Stop your prayers, old man. I mean no harm. I am not what you fear. Sheikh Abdullah's hand clutched his prayer beads so tightly they cut into his palm. Show yourself. If you are of the believers, you will obey. Silence stretched. Then, slowly, the shadow descended back into the well, and from the depths 2 eyes appeared, not red as the story said, but blue. Deep blue, like the heart of flame. I cannot show myself fully, the voice said, softer now. Not yet. I am bound here, Sheikh Abdullah, bound by your ancestors 99 years ago, and I am dying. Sheikh Abdullah stumbled backward, his heart hammering against his ribs. You know my name? I know many things, servant of Allah. I have been imprisoned beneath this earth for nearly a century, but I am not deaf to the world above. I hear your prayers, every single one. 5 times a day, for 43 years. The old imam's mind raced. This couldn't be real. Yet the blue eyes stared at him from the darkness, unblinking, ancient beyond measure. What are you? He whispered. I am Djinn, created from smokeless fire, as you were created from clay. But unlike my brothers who chose rebellion, I chose submission. I am Muslim, Sheikh. I pray as you pray. I fast as you fast. And I have been trapped here for a crime I did not commit. Sheikh Abdullah wanted to run. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, to seal this well forever, to pretend this night had never happened. But something held him there. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps duty, or perhaps the note of genuine suffering in that otherworldly voice. Why were you imprisoned? The blue eyes dimmed slightly. A child went missing. 99 years ago, during the month of Muharram, a girl, 7 years old, vanished near this well. The villagers found her garment here, torn and bloodied. They blamed me. They performed a ritual, bound me with verses and iron, sealed me below. And did you take the child? No. The word echoed with such force that dust fell from the well's walls. I tried to save her. I saw the man who took her, a traveler, a human, evil in his heart. I followed, tried to intervene, but I was too late. The child died, and when they found her clothes near my dwelling, they assumed. Sheikh Abdullah's legs trembled. He sat on the warm sand, his mind struggling to process what he was hearing. Why didn't you defend yourself? Why didn't you tell them? I tried, but humans see what they expect to see. They feared Djinn, so when tragedy struck, I became the convenient monster. The real killer moved on, unpunished, and I have been here ever since, waiting for someone who would listen. The old imam looked up at the stars, seeking guidance in their ancient light. Was this a test? A deception? Djinn were known for their cunning, their ability to deceive. How do I know you speak the truth? You don't, the Djinn replied, and that is precisely why I need your help. Sheikh Abdullah returned to his home as dawn painted the sky purple and gold. His mind churned with impossible questions. His hands still trembled as he prepared for morning prayer. Could Djinn lie? Yes, according to scholars. But could they lie while imprisoned by Quranic verses? That was different. The bindings the ancestors used were powerful. Ancient protective prayers that would burn a rebellious Djinn like acid. After leading Fajr prayer, the Sheikh retreated to his private library, a small room lined with books inherited from his father and grandfather before him. Somewhere in these pages, there had to be answers. He found the village chronicle, a leather-bound ledger where each imam recorded significant events. His fingers, spotted with age, turned fragile pages until he found the year 1926. There, written in his grandfather's careful hand, Muharram 15, 1345, AH. The child Fatima, daughter of Mahmud the carpenter, has been found dead in the wadi. May Allah grant her Jannah. Evidence of Djinn activity near Bir al-Mansur. The creature must be bound. The ritual will be performed tomorrow. Sheikh Abdullah's breath caught. His grandfather had performed the binding, but the entry said nothing about a trial, nothing about proof, just evidence of Djinn activity. He kept reading. Muharram 17. The binding is complete. The Djinn is sealed. The village is safe. May Allah protect us from the unseen. That was all. No details. No mention of the child's actual killer ever being found. The old imam sat back, his mind troubled. What if A knock at his door startled him. It was Hassan, the farmer. "Sheikh, we're opening the well this afternoon. We need you to lead the prayers. Ask Allah's blessing." Sheikh Abdullah's throat tightened. "Hassan, wait. We need to research this properly. The well was sealed for a reason. The reason is superstition, Sheikh. We're dying of thirst. We need water, not ancient fears." After Hassan left, Sheikh Abdullah knew he had to act. But what? Free a potentially innocent jinn? Or protect his village from a possible monster? He returned to the well that evening, alone. "You said you can prove your innocence," he called into the darkness. "How?" The blue eyes appeared immediately, as if the jinn had been waiting. "The man who killed the child. He left something behind. Something I hid, hoping one day someone would believe me. It's buried near the old acacia tree, 20 paces north of this well. A knife, with initials carved in the handle." Sheikh Abdullah's heart raced. "What initials?" "Y.A. Yusuf al-Rashid. He was a merchant's guard. He left the village the next day, and no one ever questioned why." The old acacia tree stood twisted and gnarled, its roots breaking through earth like arthritic fingers. Sheikh Abdullah counted 20 paces north, his steps measured, his breathing shallow. He began to dig with his bare hands. The soil was hard, baked by decades of sun. His fingers bled, but he continued. If the jinn was lying, there would be nothing here. If it was telling the truth, metal. His fingers struck something solid. He dug faster, uncovering a piece of oilcloth, ancient and crumbling. Inside, wrapped carefully, was a knife. The blade was rusted, but the handle remained intact. Bone or ivory, carved with expert craftsmanship. And there, etched deep into the handle, Y.A. Sheikh Abdullah's hands shook as he held the weapon. This was real. This was evidence. But evidence of what? That the jinn was telling the truth? Or that this was an elaborate deception? He returned to the well, the knife heavy in his pocket. "I found it," he said to the darkness. "Then you know I speak the truth." The jinn's voice carried a note of hope that sounded painfully human. "I know someone buried a knife. I don't know what it proves." Silence. Then, "In my world, Sheikh Abdullah, a jinn's word is binding. When we are imprisoned by holy verses, we cannot speak falsehood. It would destroy us from within, like fire consuming itself. I have endured 99 years of darkness, of isolation, of knowing I was punished for trying to do good. If I were lying, the very Quran verses that bind me would have incinerated my soul decades ago." The old imam closed his eyes. His grandfather had been a righteous man, but righteous men could make mistakes, especially when grief and fear clouded judgment. "If I free you," Sheikh Abdullah said slowly, "what will you do?" "I will leave this place. I will return to my people and pray I can find peace after a century of torment. And I will remember that one human had the courage to listen. And if you're lying, if you're a demon who will prey on my village, then you will have made a mistake," the jinn replied. "But you will have made it for the right reason, because you chose justice over fear. Is that not what your faith teaches?" Sheikh Abdullah didn't sleep that night. He prayed. He read Quran until his eyes burned. He sought guidance in every verse about jinn, about justice, about mercy, about the dangers of the unseen. The Quran was clear. Jinn existed. Some were believers, some were not. Some were righteous, some were evil. Just like humans. But his responsibility was to his village, to the living, breathing people who trusted him to guide them towards safety and righteousness. Young Karim found him at dawn, still in the mosque, surrounded by open books. "Grandfather, you look terrible. Have you been here all night?" Sheikh Abdullah looked at his grandson. Innocent, trusting, full of life. "Karim, if you knew someone was imprisoned unjustly, but freeing them might put others in danger, what would you do?" The boy thought carefully, his young face serious. "The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He fought for justice even when it was difficult, even when it was dangerous. Isn't that what you taught me? From the mouths of children, truth emerges." The old imam stood, his joints creaking, his decision made. But before he could act, voices echoed outside. The villagers. They were gathering at the well. He rushed outside to find dozens of people assembled, tools in hand. Hassan stood at the front, ready to remove the final stones. "Wait!" Sheikh Abdullah's voice cut through the morning air. "Please wait. I must tell you something." The crowd turned to him, confusion and impatience on their faces, and Sheikh Abdullah did something he had never done in 43 years of service. He told them about the Djinn. The reaction was immediate and explosive. "You've been talking to a Djinn?" Hassan's face went pale. "The Sheikh has gone mad," someone whispered. "It's a demon! It's deceived him!" Sheikh Abdullah raised his hands, trying to calm the chaos. "Listen to me. Our ancestors may have made a mistake. An innocent being has been imprisoned for 99 years. He pulled out the knife, held it high. This is evidence. Evidence that a human killed that child, not the Djinn. Yusuf al-Rashid. Does anyone remember that name? An ancient woman, bent with age, pushed through the crowd. Her eyes were milky with cataracts, but her voice was clear. "I remember. I was a girl then. Yusuf was the merchant's guard. He left suddenly, the morning after Fatima was found. My mother said it was suspicious, but no one listened. Everyone was too focused on the Djinn." A murmur rippled through the crowd. "This could be a trick," Hassan insisted. "Djinn are masters of deception." "Then let me test him," Sheikh Abdullah said. He approached the well, the entire village watching. "Spirit of the well, if you are truly a believer, if you speak the truth, then recite for us Surah al-Ikhlas." From the depths, the Djinn's voice rose, clear and reverent. "Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu as-samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad." Say, He is Allah, the One, Allah, the Eternal. He begot none, nor was he begotten, and there is none comparable unto him. The crowd fell silent. Even the most skeptical felt the weight of those words, spoken from darkness with profound devotion. Sheikh Abdullah's decision crystallized. He began removing the stones, one by one, reciting protective prayers as he worked. Some villagers joined him. Others backed away in fear. The final stone lifted. The seal was broken. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, from the well, a form emerged, not monstrous, not terrifying, a figure of smoke and starlight, shifting and shimmering, barely visible in the dawn light. The Djinn rose, and for the first time in 99 years, breathed free air. The Djinn hovered at the well's edge, its form flickering between visibility and vapor. The villagers stood frozen, caught between awe and terror. Sheikh Abdullah met those blue eyes, now visible in full light, burning with intensity that was both frightening and strangely beautiful. "You freed me," the Djinn said, and its voice was different now. Stronger, filled with emotion that sounded like tears made of wind. "After all this time, someone finally listened." "I freed you because it was just," Sheikh Abdullah replied, his voice steady despite his trembling hands. "But know this. If you betray this trust, if you harm anyone, the blood will be on my hands." The Djinn bowed, a gesture of profound respect. "I swear by Allah, by the same God we both serve, I will bring no harm to your people. But I ask one thing before I depart." "What?" "Let me show you. Let me show you all what really happened that night." The Djinn extended what might have been a hand, trailing smoke and starlight. It touched the ground where Sheikh Abdullah had found the knife. The air shimmered, and suddenly the villagers saw it. A vision, a memory preserved by the Djinn for 99 years. They saw young Fatima playing near the well, saw a man, Yusuf al-Rashid, approach her with false kindness, saw him lead her away, saw the Djinn follow, invisible, trying to intervene but unable to touch the physical world without revealing itself, saw the terrible moment of the child's death, saw the Djinn's anguished attempt to help, to save, arriving too late, saw Yusuf flee, dropping the knife near the well, saw the Djinn hide the weapon, the only evidence of the true killer, and saw the villagers arrive, see the Djinn near the child's torn clothing, and jump to the easiest conclusion. The vision faded. Several people were weeping. Hassan had fallen to his knees. "We were wrong," the old woman whispered. "By Allah, we were so wrong." The Djinn's form began to dissipate, fading like morning mist under the rising sun. "I hold no hatred for you," it said. Fear makes people blind, but justice makes them see. Wait, Sheikh Abdullah called. What is your name? In all this, I never asked your name. The Jinn smiled, or seemed to. Sulaiman. My name is Sulaiman. And with that, he was gone, dispersing into the wind, finally free. The village was never the same after that day. They opened the well, yes, and found water, sweet and pure, as if the earth had been waiting for justice to be served before giving up its gifts. But more than that, something shifted in the hearts of the people. The story of Sulaiman the Jinn spread through the region, then the country, carried by travelers and pilgrims. Sheikh Abdullah became known as the Imam who listened. People came from distant places to hear him speak about justice, about the danger of assumptions, about the importance of seeking truth even when it's uncomfortable. The knife was placed in the mosque, not as a relic, but as a reminder. Beneath it, an inscription: "Evidence ignored is justice denied." Whether the accused is human or jinn, seen or unseen, all deserve to be heard. Young Karim, inspired by his grandfather's courage, devoted himself to study. He would go on to become a scholar, writing extensively about the intersection of faith, justice, and the unseen world. As for Sheikh Abdullah, he continued to serve his village for 7 more years. His prayers were deeper now, his sermons more thoughtful. He had learned something profound, that righteousness without wisdom is blind, and that the greatest test of faith is not how you treat those who are like you, but how you treat those who are different. Even impossibly, frighteningly different. On his final night, surrounded by family, Sheikh Abdullah smiled peacefully. His grandson leaned close to hear his last words. "Did you ever see him again?" Karim whispered. "Sulaiman?" The old imam's eyes sparkled with a secret. "Every night, in my prayers, I felt him, praying somewhere in the world, free. And once I heard the wind whisper, 'Thank you.'" He closed his eyes and was gone, his soul departing with the gentleness of sand falling through an hourglass. At his funeral, something strange happened. As they lowered him into the earth, a wind rose from nowhere, warm, carrying the scent of distant places. And for just a moment, those who were sensitive to such things swore they saw a shimmer in the air, a presence, paying respects to the human who had dared to grant justice to the unseen. The story of Sheikh Abdullah and Sulaiman teaches us something our modern world desperately needs to remember. That truth is not always visible, that justice requires courage, and that mercy extended to the unlikely creates ripples that last for generations. The phrase Sulaiman spoke before disappearing, "Justice makes them see," became a proverb in that region. It's whispered in courtrooms, taught to children, carved into the gates of schools and mosques, because the lesson isn't really about jinn at all. It's about us, about how quickly we condemn what we don't understand, about how fear can dress itself up as righteousness, about how the greatest act of faith is sometimes simply to listen. The Quran tells us that jinn exist, that some are believers, some are not, that they live among us, unseen, facing their own tests and trials. But beyond theology, there's a human lesson here. Everyone deserves to be heard. Everyone deserves justice, even those we fear, even those we cannot see. Sheikh Abdullah risked everything, his reputation, his position, the safety of his village, because he chose to listen. And in doing so, he freed not just a jinn, but his own soul from the prison of assumption. I have sad news. I'll need to close this channel. It's really great to bring these stories. The only way to continue with the project is by becoming a YouTube partner. But for that, I need 1,000 subscribers. So I ask from my heart, subscribe. That's the only way I can continue with this project. Your support means everything, and together we can keep sharing these incredible stories of faith, mystery, and transformation. Thank you for watching. May you have the courage to listen when others choose to fear.